The entire universe, from the grandest galaxies to the minutest subatomic particles, is the result of a sacred union, not merely an interaction, not simply a collision, but a profound, indissoluble fusion of two primordial, creative poles. We are accustomed to thinking of birth as a biological act, of creation as a singular effort. But what if existence itself, being itself, is an eternal, unceasing coition of opposites? Today, we shall delve into the depths of the last, seventh principle of the Kybalion, the principle of gender. And immediately, we must cast aside superficial associations with sex or sexuality in their mundane understanding. This principle is far deeper, far more universal. It speaks of two fundamental, creative energies that permeate absolutely everything. Every thought, every atom, every project, every star. Without their harmonious union, nothing arises, neither an idea, nor a child, nor an entire universe. This is the paradox of creation that lies at the foundation of all existence. The Kybalion, this ancient Hermetic text, transmitted to us from the depths of ages, affirms, gender is in everything. Everything has its masculine and feminine principles. Gender manifests on all planes. This is not a metaphor, but a fundamental law. The masculine principle here is the active, giving, initiating, penetrating energy. It is akin to the spark that ignites the flame, or the seed that pierces the soil. The feminine principle is the receptive, formative, nurturing, holding energy. It is akin to the earth that receives the seed and gives it life, or the vessel that contains and forms. These two poles are inseparable. They do not exist without each other. One without the other is merely potential, never becoming reality. Consider how humans think. An idea, born only in the mind, but not nurtured, not pondered, not brought to form. It dies, never manifesting. This is like an active impulse without a receptive space for its realization. Conversely, an idea merely conceived but not actualized, not permeated by active thought, will never emerge, never gain clarity. This is like receptive potential without an initiating impulse. The Kybalion teaches us that true creation occurs on the mental plane, and there these two principles manifest most vividly. On the mental plane, the masculine principle is will, initiative, the active projection of thought. The feminine principle is intuition, creative imagination, receptivity, the capacity to form and hold thought. These are not merely esoteric deliberations. Modern science, step by step, confirms these ancient truths, albeit describing them in its own language. In 1925, the great physicist Wolfgang Pauli discovered the exclusion principle, which demonstrated that electrons in an atom organize according to the principle of opposite spins. Each energy level can contain no more than 2 electrons, and they must possess opposite spins. Without this polarity, without this union of opposites at the subatomic level, chemistry would not exist, there would be no stable atoms, and thus none of the matter we know. This is a fundamental manifestation of the active and receptive poles. One spin is active, the other is receptive, and only their paired existence creates stability and the possibility for further creation. Or let us consider biology, the very foundation of life. Every cell in your body, every cell on Earth, is a product of such a union. Mitochondria, these energy stations of the cell, are transmitted exclusively through the maternal line. They carry within them ancient receptive wisdom, a formative energy. And nuclear DNA, containing the main genetic code, is the result of the fusion of genetic material from both parents. But it is precisely its structure and function that represent an active, organizing force. Without both these lineages, without maternal mitochondrial DNA and without nuclear DNA, which is the result of the union of active and receptive principles, a cell cannot exist, cannot function, cannot be alive. Ancient mystery schools and world mythologies have spoken of this principle for millennia, utilizing their symbols and stories. In Tantra, an ancient Indian tradition, we find Shiva and Shakti. Shiva is pure consciousness, immobile, transcendent, active potential. Shakti is energy, dynamic, creative, manifesting in all forms, receptive and formative. Without the union of Shiva and Shakti, without their cosmic dance, the universe does not exist. Shiva is the silent witness. Shakti is the dance of creation. Only together do they engender reality. In Taoism, we behold Yang and Yin, two creative poles which, akin to Shiva and Shakti, represent the active and receptive principles. Yang is light, activity, heaven, the masculine. Yin is darkness, passivity, earth, the feminine. But it is crucial to understand that this differs from the principle of polarity, which we examined previously. The principle of polarity speaks of a scale of the same quality, where there are extremes, but they are merely different degrees. The principle of gender, however, speaks of two distinct yet complementary forces that unite for creation. Yang and Yin are not merely opposite ends of a spectrum. They are two separate, yet interdependent energies which, merging, engender all existence. The alchemists, these ancient masters of transformation, also profoundly understood the principle of gender. They spoke of coniunctio oppositorum the conjunction of opposites. Their central symbol was Sol coniunctus cum luna the sun, symbolizing the active masculine principle, and the moon, symbolizing the receptive feminine principle. This was the marriage of the king and queen, sulphur and mercury, fire and water. The aim of the alchemical process was not merely a mixture, but a true fusion of these opposing elements for the birth of a new transcendent state, the philosopher's stone, which was a symbol of perfect creation. Carl Gustav Jung, one of the greatest psychologists of the 20th century, dedicated a significant portion of his life to studying this phenomenon. In his monumental work Mysterium Coniunctionis published in 1955, he documented coniunctio oppositorum as the central task of individuation, the process of becoming a whole personality. Jung asserted that the conjunction of opposites is the most ancient and most important of the alchemical operations. He viewed this as an inner psychological process where the conscious, active, masculine and the unconscious, receptive, feminine must be integrated to achieve psychological wholeness. Our psyche, according to Jung, strives for this union, for a balance between reason and emotion, logic and intuition, action and contemplation. The practical implications of this principle for our daily lives are immense. We are constantly in a process of creation, be it the generation of an idea, the building of relationships, the realization of a project, or even simply the planning of a day. Understanding the principle of gender allows us to create not merely effectively, but also delicately, harmoniously. Let us take the example of any project. It always possesses paternal and maternal phases. The paternal phase is initiation, vision, goal setting, structuring, breakthrough. It is the active impulse that initiates the process. The maternal phase is gestation, nurturing, detailing, adaptation, maintenance, care for development. It is the receptive energy that allows the project to grow and take form. Without the paternal phase, a project will never commence. Without the maternal phase, it will never be completed, will not attain stability, will not realize its full potential. How then can one unite action and reception within oneself to create delicately, yet effectively? First and foremost, recognize that both qualities are present within you, regardless of your physical gender. Society often imposes certain roles upon us, but within every individual reside both active and receptive energies. For men, the development of the receptive quality means learning to listen not only with the mind, but also with the heart. It signifies allowing things to unfold without attempting to control everything. This involves cultivating empathy, intuition, the capacity for contemplation, and the acceptance of help and support. It is the ability to be the soil that allows ideas and relationships to take root and flourish, rather than solely the seed that initiates them. For women, the development of the active quality means learning to initiate, to break through, to assert one's ideas, to manifest will and direction. It is the ability to be the seed that initiates a process rather than solely the soil that receives it. This involves cultivating decisiveness, leadership qualities, the capacity for direct action, and the manifestation of one's strength. Here are several practical techniques that will assist you in applying the principle of gender in your life. First technique, dual intention. Before embarking on any action or project, formulate not only an active intention, what you wish to do, create, achieve, but also a receptive intention, how you desire it to evolve, what qualities you wish to imbue the process with, how you will sustain it. For instance, if you are writing a book, the active intention is to write 100,000 words, to structure the plot. The receptive intention is to allow inspiration to flow freely, to be open to new ideas, nurturing the story with love and patience. Record both intentions and keep them in mind throughout the entire process. Second technique, the dance of roles. Throughout the day, consciously shift your roles. If you perceive yourself to be acting excessively, the active pole. Deliberately pause, listen, observe, receive information, the receptive pole. If you sense yourself to be overly passive, awaiting events to unfold, the receptive pole. Initiate a conversation, propose a solution, take the first step, the active pole. This constant shifting of roles cultivates flexibility and the harmonization of these energies within you. Third technique, meditation of union. Daily, dedicate 10 to 15 minutes to meditation. Sit in silence, visualize within yourself two energies. One, bright, fiery, penetrating, ascending, the active principle. The other, soft, flowing, encompassing, descending, the receptive principle. Allow them to merge in your heart center, creating a unified, harmonious luminescence. Sense how this union imbues you with wholeness and creative power. This practice fortifies inner balance. Fourth technique, project analysis through the lens of gender. For any ongoing project, be it personal or professional, divided into paternal and maternal phases. Paternal phase, what was initiated? What was the initial idea, structure, impulse? Maternal phase, how is this project being gestated? What details need to be refined? How is it to be sustained? What resources, internal and external, are necessary for its nourishment and growth? Where do you perceive imbalance? Perhaps the project lacks an active impulse, or conversely, it was launched but is not receiving sufficient attention and nurturing. Fifth technique, cultivating the opposite quality. If you are a man, consciously seek opportunities to develop receptive qualities, practice active listening, learn to express emotions, dedicate time to contemplating nature, to creative endeavors that demand patience and attention to detail. If you are a woman, consciously seek opportunities to develop active qualities, initiate projects, voice your opinions, assume leadership, set clear goals, and strive to achieve them. This does not signify an abandonment of your inherent inclination, but an enrichment of your personality. The principle of gender is not merely a philosophical concept, it is a living, pulsating truth that lies at the core of all existence. By comprehending and applying it, you become not merely an observer, but a conscious co-creator of your reality. You learn to dance the dance of Shiva and Shakti within yourself, to forge harmony between yang and yin, to unite the sun and moon in your soul. In our next immersion, we shall turn to the most elusive of all principles, to that which forms the very fabric of our reality, to that which dictates the sequence of all events. We shall explore the principle of rhythm, which teaches us that all things flow and return, that every tide has its ebb. If these profound explorations resonate with your soul and awaken within you a thirst for true knowledge, remain with us on this journey. For only together can we unveil all the mysteries of the universe.